Hi, everybody. It's Cindy here, and I'm sharing some of my favorite authors this week. And today I want to talk about Jack Canfield's book, The Success Principles. He is one of my all-time favorite authors. I've actually studied very closely with him and his company over the last 7 years. And this is my favorite book of his. He has a gazillion of them, but this is my all-time favorite, The Success Principles. How to get from where you are to where you want to be. And it's basically a manual to guide us to greater success in our life, personally and professionally. It's a big one. It's got a lot of great examples in it and so forth. And the success principle I want to share with you today is called Inquire Within. So basically, trusting your intuition. Now, some people don't even believe in intuition, but I'm here to tell you that in my life, I definitely believe in it. And I want you to know that you have this. Everybody has this inside of them. And you can either use it or not, but actually, probably it's shown itself in your life in different ways. So let me talk a little bit about it. First of all, trusting our own intuition or our gut instinct, our own thoughts about something is not something we're generally taught. Usually we are taught the opposite and to look outside of ourselves for feedback and answers and ideas and opinions and everything else. So it is really a big shift to think about trusting more within than seeking answers out there somewhere. So one of the ways that I balance this in my own life, whenever I have a decision to make, for example, I gather all the information, right? If there's information or facts or things to know, I gather all of that first, kind of what the world says about, the options in front of me or whatever. And then I use my intuition. So I take in the knowledge and the ideas involved with whatever decision it is. But then ultimately, I'm going to use my intuition more than anything else to make this decision, to make a decision or to move forward in one direction or another or whatever. So this is all about looking within yourself. And your intuition can help you with anything, really. Any decision you have to make, a problem you need to solve. If you're looking for a new idea for your business, if you have, a question in your life and you're seeking answers, intuition can be useful. So how do we use our intuition? So the best way that I've heard and that Jack teaches about too is getting really quiet with yourself. You may be a meditator, someone who meditates regularly. If you're not and you want to learn more about that, I have a video about meditation that I did and mindfulness and breathing and all those kinds of things just a few weeks ago. You can find on my Facebook fan page, and that can help get you started. So meditation is one way. Really, any form of being quiet with yourself. If you just sit with your questions, you sit with your options about a decision or something, and then just listen very quietly. You might practice some really deep, long breaths, and just cut out all the worldly noise, whether it's music, the news on the television, shut off your phone, don't talk to anybody, sit quietly with yourself somewhere, go take a quiet walk in nature or something, and have on your mind what you really want to develop an understanding around, and then really, really listen. Really listen. Now, how does our intuition communicate with us? Well, it can come in all kinds of forms. People literally hear voices sometimes telling them something to do. Go this way, go that way, do this, do that. Sometimes there's just ideas that, just pop up in your head. I bet you've had that happen, where something just comes to your mind suddenly and you think, wow, where did that come from? Well, it's probably your intuition, right? So you may just have thoughts pop up in your mind. You may hear voices literally telling you the answers to the questions you have. You may see visions, like you may have a real vision for something, what something looks like, or a place, like if you're choosing a place here or there, or if you might see something literally in your mind. Um, or you might like see the answers to your questions on billboards and things that are out in the world that might speak to you and kind of jump out at you and show you an answer in another form than what you're expecting. So things like that can happen. Also, there's a lot that our bodies can tell us. Like when you consider one side of a decision versus another side of a decision. Like on the one side, you may start sweating or feel anxious, or your heart may start palpitating, your head might start to hurt, your stomach might feel twisted up. You just may get really uncomfortable, have a lot of discomfort, or not be able to sleep. You may feel restless, and that may mean that you're off track. That's not the direction to go. Whereas if you choose the other, when you think about the other aspect, you might have a sense of peace come over you. You may feel physically very relaxed and pain-free. You may just have a real comfort come over you, like a warm feeling on the inside, just like giving you relief or relaxation. And that can tell you, that's your body talking to you. Your body might also get really excited, like you might feel excitement or real passion or drive about an answer that you're getting. And that's a clue that might be the best way to go, that your intuition's telling you go that direction. So there's that kind of physical response that people have. Tension, feeling more tense, constricted, people say, or expanded. If we feel expanded, we feel more open, like something feels really good and opened up. So that would be, your intuition, heading in the best direction. But if you're feeling constricted and like uptight, then maybe not. And then our emotions. Okay, if you feel doubt, fear, anxiety, stress, confusion, concern, or sadness even, any of those fear-based emotions, then the direction you're headed is probably not good. Your intuition's trying to tell you, take a U-turn, go another direction. But if you feel really peaceful, like I said before, or happy, or like this relief or passion, or just excitement, like, okay, great, let's get started. That sounds fun. Or happy, just really, really comfortable. That's your intuition probably saying, that's the direction I want you to go. So your intuition is going to communicate with you through thoughts, words, visions, voices, physical sensations, emotions, strong emotions, and that will tell you what your intuition is where your intuition is attempting to lead you. And Jack suggests in his book that when you feel sure that you've received the message from your intuition about something, to take immediate action. The sooner you can act on it, the better. And that is showing real trust in yourself, your own intuition. And then, things will quickly progress as you take immediate action. Things will progress in a very, very good pace for you to move through whatever this is that you're navigating at the time, and show you proof that you are on track with what's going on. So I've used this, like I said, several times in my life, and I'll just tell you a quick story, which I think is pretty fun. About a year ago, about 11 months ago, I had, after thinking about where I might move for over a year, I suddenly knew where, all of a sudden, it all came together and I knew, and there's a million reasons why, but I knew I was to move to Lawrence, Kansas. And so I announced, when I sell my house and I move, when I sell my house, I will be moving to Lawrence, Kansas. Well, then and so I started telling people and announcing it, and started to research places to live in Lawrence and things like that. But my house was still on the market, so I wasn't leaving until it sold in my mind, because that's what made sense, right? So I went out to the mailbox one day to get the mail out of the box, and on my way I heard a voice, and a voice said, "You're going to move to Lawrence sooner rather than later, and your house isn't going to be sold." This message literally came into my head. Okay. And so I got the mail out of the box, and I'm flipping through it on the way back to the house, and I'm arguing with my intuition. And I'm saying, that doesn't make any sense to me that I would move out before my house is sold. So I won't be doing that. But yes, I'll go to Lawrence when the house sells. I got inside the house, shut the door, took care of the mail, went on with my day, and I just ignored the subject. 3 days later, some friends of mine suddenly, it's a long story, but needed a home to live in the town my house was. And these are people I've known for years, trusted them, knew their financial life, everything. And they were in a crunch big time and needed a house. And so they took care of just 2 days. And we figured out exactly how the rental process was going to go. And so they rented the house from me so I could leave. They took care of the house payment so I could leave and go move to Lawrence sooner rather than later. And they lived in the house for many, many months and met their needs and so forth. And I got going to Lawrence sooner than I expected, just like the voice told me I would. And it all worked out really, really well. The other part of that story is that I quickly lined up 10 homes to look at in Lawrence in one day, because they wanted to move in quickly, so I needed to move out quickly. I also had a trip overseas that was coming up planned, so I also needed to get shifted quickly. So anyway, I had one day that I was going to look at 10 properties in Lawrence. They were spread out all over Lawrence, several different landlords and realtors helping me and so forth through that day. But I scheduled the first one the first one of the day was the one I most thought, just instinctively, my intuition was telling me this is the most likely one, just based on online information and talking to landlords on the phone. Okay, just very brief research and experience. Okay, so I started with that one very much on purpose, but had several others I thought would be nice places to live, nice neighborhoods, in my budget, kind landlords, could take my cat, the whole thing, right? So I go to house number 1 in Lawrence. I'm in the house 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Now, I talked to my intuition on the way to Lawrence and said my prayers and the whole thing, and said, lead me to know by the end of this day which home to do, and that the landlord will also know they want me to be their tenant by the end of this day. I need to know so I can start making the move and everything. And I'm open to feedback. I want you to tell me. I was asking the question. So I went to the first place, and I was in that place for not even 5 minutes, and I felt it. I felt it physically. I felt it emotionally. And I thought, this is it. This is my next home. And talking to the landlord of that home, I just felt so comfortable, and I knew she was the one for me. And but yeah, I felt very sure about the whole thing, but decided I had 9 other properties that I really ought to look at, and 9 other neighborhoods to go into and things like that. And so I told her, I said, I feel really good about this. However, I want to honor the other 9 commitments I made on this day, and I will come back to you this evening when I've been through the other 9 and visit with you again and about what I found out. So I went to all the other 9, and despite how nice they were, how perfect the neighborhoods were, how they could take my cat, the budget, the kindness, the whole thing. Now, some of them were not as appropriate. They were a miss totally. But a lot of them would have been just fine, would have met my needs just fine. But I knew every time, no, nope, 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 all day long. And so at 6 o'clock that night, 10 hours later, I was back speaking to landlord number one in the neighborhood number one that I went to, and she had decided during the day that she had other prospects for this property as well, but she decided during the day, nope, she was going to bump me up to number one. And I said, okay, where do I sign? How soon can I get in? And it just, so everything fell into place. And how did I know? I had the logistics of all 10 places. I knew my budget, and I knew the cost of all 10 places. I knew where they were located, all through the town. I knew they'd all take cats. I knew, all these other factors. I had the full information, but the sealing of the deal came because I trusted my intuition. I inquired within, one of the success principles of Jack Canfield. And it is likely, honestly, if you really, really believe in it, is probably your best source of information of all in your life. So grow your relationship with your intuition. Trust yourself, your inside self, more than anything else. And just notice how great it can help you navigate your life. And let me know. I mean, I'd love to hear your stories of this. And anyway, I hope this has been helpful, and I'll talk to you again soon.